My name is Azhar Said. I'm the owner of Azhar's Oriental rugs. And I've been selling, buying, washing, restoring rugs for the last 47 years. I've operated 30-some stores in the US, stores in Mexico, stores in Latin America, and built up a sizable customer base. On the eve of the lockdown, I needed some masks for my employees. I tried to buy the masks, couldn't find any. So I called some friends of mine in China. I've been active in China since the 70s. And the people I worked with them in the 70s have now become large businessmen with all types of manufacturing and businesses. So I called some of my friends. And they said, yes, we have masks. And how many do you need? Well, I just needed a few hundred masks. I said, Azhar, there's no way to send you just a few hundred masks. We sell them in thousands and millions. So the minimum they could send to me was 2,000 masks. So I said, fine, just send me 2,000, and I sent them the money, and I received 2,000 masks. I used them with my employees, and the balance, I let some customers know that I've got these masks. And before I knew, all the masks, within an hour, customers required them, and we sold them. That's when I realized that there was a massive demand to protect themselves. People needed these masks. And you can't blame them. It's one of the basic human rights to protect yourself. And I decided to send some more money to the Chinese and receive some more masks. And that's how my journey began, from selling rugs to peddling masks. Buying from China or selling to China can be absolutely nightmarish. Navigating the webs to get to the right people literally takes years. In this case, I was lucky. I've been with these people for the last 40 years. And I found some of my fellow businessmen who owned the manufacturing, who were registered exporters. And they started informing me, educating me, and that's how I learned about these masks. If you had asked me a few months before, what is KN95? I would look at you and think it's something to do with breeds of dogs. So that literally just shows to you what I knew before I got started. I'm going to now explain to you the first important thing of all the masks that are made in the world and utilized in the world. Each country, United States, China, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, European Union, Great Britain, all of these countries have their own classifications of masks. Basically, the classification of masks is merely the absolute minimum standards when the manufacturers make these masks that they are going to be tested against. The standards of filtration rate, the standard of breathability, the standard of flow rates, and multiple other standards. The American standard is classified as the N95. The European standard is called the 149-2001, and the filtration rates are classified as FP1, FP2, and FP3. Then you have the Chinese standard. The Chinese standard is called the KN95. You can make a mask, and if it passes the following tests, then you pass the classification. Right now, we are concerned with the KN95. What does KN95 basically mean? KN95 basically means that the filtration level of going through the mask must be a minimum of 95%. It can be more, and generally is more in finer mask. But if it's below 95, it fails the test and is not acceptable. Now, you must have seen many types of masks available in the markets. We've tried to simply buy the best masks, and they are called the KN95 4 level or KN95 5 level. What does a 4 level and a 5 level mean? Basically, in the mask, there are two major ingredients, critical ingredients, that comprise of the quality of the mask. One is a material called melt blown, and the other material is called the sun-bond fiber. So the first thing is to use the best quality raw material, the best quality cotton, the best quality melt blown, the sun-bound. So the quality of the material. And how do you test the quality of the material? In the case of in the case of melt blown material, the thickness utilized is important. The number of pieces utilized that the air is required to go through is important. And most importantly, the quality of the melt blown. There are melt blowns that have a very high 95 BFE. BFE is a measure of filtration, while others don't even have 20. Now, I'm going to demonstrate to you a KN95 mask. As you can see clearly here, it says embedded on the mask KN95. Now, KN95 standard meets all the standards of many other countries, including the N95. So sometimes you may see masks where they say that it's a KN95, but also the EN European number or the other countries' classifications. In this case, this mask merely states it's a KN95. And the KN95 standards, they measure filter performance, flow, rates of inhalation, breathing, exhalation requirements, fitting requirements, and exhalation leakage requirements. Right now, I'm going to try this mask on for you. And it's relatively easy to put it on. And it's fitted very, very well. So it's 3D, three-dimensional fitting, it is known. And what I like about it is there is absolutely no leakage right underneath here, here, either place. At the same time, the breathability is fantastic. I'm breathing in to my full lung capacity. I'm exhaling to my full lung capacity. It's showing absolutely no pressure whatsoever for inhaling and breathing. As far as filtration level is concerned, the KN95 meets the standard for all the European countries and all other countries, including the US. In fact, the 3M manufacturer, pursuant to them, in quote, has always stated, it is reasonable to consider China's KN95 equivalent, close of quote, to US 95 standards. All the European standards, all the Japanese standards are met with the KN95, and they are exported there and used there as well. Now I'm going to show you another simple test that you can even do at your home. I'm going to take this KN95 mask, and the first thing you do, you cut all around it where all the layers inside have been stitched together to open the mask. I've already done that for you. Here is a mask that we've removed the stitching, And it's the same KN95 mask that I was wearing. And I've opened the layers for you. And if you can see, the first layer, I'm going to try and show it in the camera. This layer out here, that's the first layer. In this photograph, it's a blown up. The first layer is the SMS. You see that 50 grams, it's got these little holes in it. And I can see these holes right here. Okay, that's your first layer. Your second layer is the melt-blown material. It's very interesting, this material. This is the main critical product in all masks. Melt-blown is made in all over the world, in US factories and many other factories. The quality is critical as well. The third level here that they are using in this mask is another melt-blown fiber, the same fiber. Again, you can see with the designs inside it, when blown up, you can see very well. This is called the melt-blown fiber. It's a filter, very fine filter, specifically made to filter very low microns. Okay? So this is the second level also. There are two levels of melt-blown fiber of 25 grams in here. So we passed 3 levels. And finally, this is the fourth level of the sunbound material, fine cotton, 4 layers. So it's two levels of 25 grams of melt-bound. And on both sides is the sunbound material. So this is the KN95, 4 levels. The next simple test I'm going to demonstrate to you, which you can do it yourself, is I'm going to merely put a lighter and a flame very close to the mask and breathe. I'm breathing with all my lung capacity and might. And I'm also inhaling with the same capacity. And I'm just a few inches away from this light flame. And as you can see, there is absolutely no difference on the flame. So right there, you can be sure that you are protected from the air flowing in and your air flowing out. I have seen masks that in one flow, the light goes off. Those type of masks are not protecting you, or neither are they protecting others from your exhalation. Now I'm going to present to you the next KN95 that we have. This is the KN95, that's the 5 level. The one I showed you earlier was the 4 level, also KN95. And if you recall, that one on the face merely said KN95, which meant it passes all standards of KN95. This one, this supplier, I know very well. I've been to the factories, I've seen the production lines. And this one here has the KN95 stamp, embedded in there, like the other one did, and they're standard for the numbers for the KN95. But it also has the EN149, which is the standard for the European Union. And it has also the filtration standard that's required by the European Union, which is FFP2. Remember, there was FFP1, FFP2, and FFP3. So this meets the FFP2 standards. That's the minimum standard that it meets. But there have been many reports, and the reports that I've seen also, the filtration is over 98, 99% in these 5 levels and the 4 levels. So first thing I'm going to wear this mask. You can see the fit. It's completely sealed from the sides. I'm inhaling very freely. And one thing I've observed between this one and the fall level is this one is slightly larger. Here was the KN95 fall level. And if you see, by placing one on the other, it's significantly larger in size. So it covers a little bit more of your face. 5-layer mask. Here is the first level. This is the SMS 50 grams. The next level is the melt-blown material. The melt-blown material is 25 grams with a BEFE of 99 melt-blown. So it's a very good quality melt-blown material. The third level is another very nice sun-blown material. Fourth level is again a 25 G BFE 99 melt-blown material. And the last one again is the 25 gram water repellent, skin-friendly, sun-bound, non-woven material. Now again I'm going to demonstrate the simple flame test. Again, it's breathing very well, fits very well, and no matter how hard you try, I was down to less than 1 inch from the flame. And I was breathing as hard as I could, exhaling, inhaling, and the flame did not even slightly flicker. So there's a complete protection in the 5th level, just as there was in the 4th level, from exhaling and inhaling. Now I'm going to show you the simple, well-known, you must have seen it everywhere, the blue mask. I'm going to wear it. Its fit is quite nice, in fact. It's quite tight all over. And this mask is a 3-layer mask. And here are the 3 levels. Level 1. Level 2 is the melt-blown material. So it has the melt-blown material. There are many of these masks, they don't have this material at all. Okay, and here is the melt-blown material. So 25 grams. And third is the SMS material for breathability. So basically, this is a 3-layer mask. So as you can see, the melt-blown material, it's completely covering this mask, the length and the width of it, and it's giving you some protection. The way I see it, here is a simple diagram of the protection levels. You're getting more protection in this economical blue mask than a simple bandana or some other kind of a home mask. While you're getting significant 95 level protection in the others, KN95 masks. So even though this is a very economical mask, but still better than having nothing. And my mask, at least what I've seen, gives protection because it's got this large melt-blown material in the center. And as you could see, I was unable to blow out the candle, the light. Aside from doing the airflow test that I've demonstrated to you in the 4th level and the 5th level mask, there are 2 other tests that you can easily do at your home to decide if the quality of the mask meets the standard of 95 or not. They're relatively easy. It's not a good test as a lab would do, but it will suffice. So here is, again, the 5-layer mask, the one that has the European standards and the KN94 standards certification. And all I've done here is we take a little bit of the sweet and low. Sweet and low powder size is about 7 macrons. The certification for these is 3 microns. So if you can smell anything at all when you inhale or you even exhale, any slight smell of the sweet and low, then it's failed. A counterfeit I've done this before, you can smell it immediately. So right here is some sweet and low, and it's very close to me. I'm breathing, inhaling, exhaling, and I can smell nothing. Absolutely nothing. As you saw earlier, I had this sweet and low with the 5-level mask. And I was inhaling, I was exhaling. I couldn't see any difference whatsoever of any movement of the sweet and low or any smell or anything else coming inside. Now here I'm without the mask. And you see, as I go out, it just blows out with very little air. And when I inhaled, you can see a sweetness in your mouth. Now the last test that can be easily performed at your home is called the water repellent test. And it can be done quite easily by, first thing you do is you take the mask like this right here. This is the level 5 mask that had the certification of the European Union and the KN95, and you turn it upside down. Like this. Now it's upside down. And all you do is hold it like that and pour some water on it. And right there. And if you can see, I'm going to lay it up here, and in here, there's not a single drop of water there, not one. You can do this with the level 4 as well. This was the KN95 earlier that we had demonstrated to you, the level 4. We can turn it upside down and do the same test. You can see the water inside there. I'm holding it, I'm moving it, I'm leaving it there for minutes. And here, absolutely no water in this dish. On top, you see no water leakage, no drops, absolutely nothing. Exactly the same amount of water that I put in there, I poured it back out. That's a very good test, because this test says that your own bodily fluids are not going out and harming anybody else, and vice versa. Others' fluids also are being repelled and not entering at all. The important aspect of the water test is to note that the KN95 standards and by the US OSHA standards and the European Union standards, the mask can be washed repeatedly and reused repeatedly. The way they do it in Europe is that they're packed in a packet of 2. So you use one and you leave the other one in the sunlight. Sunlight has a way of killing a lot of bacteria very fast. And you keep alternating that till after 20 or 30 uses, you decide you want to wash it. So you can wash it in hot water, 150 degrees or more, just dip it inside, and then take it out and let it dry in the sun. And it's again reusable. So it not only protects the fluids, but the last 2 layers of the mask are a special material that repels water. So it's easy to wash and very easy to dry. Within an hour or so, when you leave it in the sun, it dries. So these are the 3 simple tests that can be performed at home, because quality is important here. You can get a mask for a few dollars less, and it fails all these 3 tests. Actually, that mask is more expensive for you than a quality mask. Now, to inform you of a simple overview, the Chinese, when the virus hit China, the demand was so big to produce fast that the Chinese produced a lot of masks, some from the factories that were approved, recognized quality factories. But the main problem was the testing of all these masks. There were some that were made in small factories using not such quality material. In fact, I saw a customer trying to sell me some products, and the documents that were required to show me the test reports were issued by a company in Shenzhen, China, called Shenzhen Technology Company. I requested my folks out there to please verify if this report is accurate. And they informed me that a company like this doesn't exist. And I was surprised to learn about that. And then I saw in a report issued by the Center for the Disease Control and Prevention, where they state that specific technology company that verified the product simply doesn't exist. So there are other problems like this that have happened, because when China did not need masks anymore, these counterfeit masks were exported all over the third world, all over to Africa and everywhere, and some of them also made it to the United States. So there's been a massive crackdown around just last month in China, and China has made a significant progress of controlling the qualities now, and they have made new rules to verify and test the products. One of them is that the exports have to be done directly from the factories. So they go into a dedicated channel from the manufacturing to a registered a company to the exporter who is a registered exporter, and to the United States importers. So I believe all new masks coming in, at least from the last 30 days, the Chinese have been very strict. In fact, we saw in the newspapers in China where they burnt publicly more than 20 million substandard masks. However, I can only assure you what I am getting. I know the factory owners. I have made sure that my products are exactly what I'm telling you they are. They have the same products that I'm telling you they are. And they are made from factories that have been approved, and all standards has been maintained. Right here is a photograph of the melt-blown material. There's the melt-blown material made of very good quality from quality manufacturers that will give you the 95% or more filtration report. While the others in lower quality masks that will not even give you 20%. Do these masks exist? I believe they did exist when China needed millions of masks and they were unable to control the quality standards. But since then, the Chinese have done an excellent job, and I believe if all imports that are coming in now from China, it's the last 15 to 20 days, they are rigorously making sure that they are meeting the standards, where if they say it's a KN95, it is a KN95. I saw masks here earlier that said on them QN95. I didn't understand maybe this is some other category that I don't know of. But then I found out there was nothing called as a QN95. The guys just put that in there. Then there were other masks that I cut. They didn't have any melt-blown material at all in them. They had fiberglass inside them. Geez. And then I've also found reports submitted, as I said earlier, that companies don't even exist. Now, just a simple, brief explanation in the manufacturing process of the sun-bond fiber and the melt-blown fiber. The sun-blown fabrics are produced by depositing extruded spun filaments onto a collecting belt in a uniform, random manner, followed by bonding the fibers. The fibers are separated during the web laying process by air jets or electrostatic charges. While the key difference between the spun bonded process and the melt blowing is in the die assembly. In the melt blown process, hot air converges with the fiber as it emerges from the die. So the hot air is coming from the rollers from the inside. Whereas in the sun-bond process, the hot air flow is at a cross flow to the emerging fiber. I want to share with you and close with the one simple experience of mine. I've been selling for 47 years. And I found one common denominator in many of my actions. Wherever I purchased and compromised on quality, I regretted. Eventually, I lost. So it's simple. I truly believe quality is not expensive. What can be expensive, sometimes and more often than you think, is cheap. Thank you.